Hi guys, welcome to today's video. It's a jam-packed one, so I hope you enjoy. So today we are swatching out a new palette. So the whole last video was dedicated to this palette and sort of how it came about and a few little palette hacks and things like that. So today we're going to swatch it all out. So we are going to swatch it in the Bockingford watercolor book. So it is a cellulose paper. It's not cotton, but it's just a really lovely paper from St. Cuthbert's Mill. So they make the Saunders Waterford paper as well, which I really love. And yeah, so here is the actual palette. So I will link this below, but you can see I've got some little Greenleaf and Blueberry shells there on the lid. I've got some like little dot cards from little Reverie studio, and then just I also put an entire line of watercolors in the middle where the paintbrushes generally go. So a lot of those things you can find info in my last video. And then, so if you've been with me on the channel for a while, not a lot of these colors will be brand new. So hopefully you've seen quite a few of these before, and yeah, it's more a palette that sort of came about. I had quite a lot of palettes and I realized that I was grabbing palettes and only using particular colors from those palettes, and then I would have just a ridiculous amount on the desk. So I decided to put all of those colors into this palette. And then also I tried some new colors from Greenleaf and Blueberry and Stoneground Paints in Canada, and I absolutely loved their colors. And then it kind of got me thinking that I should sort of curate this palette. And yeah, so anyway, we will get into the swatching now. So the first one here is Isaro Rose. So she has a beautiful line of watercolors. You can get them on Jackson's Art. And yeah, this is just sort of a quinacridone rose, but it's a really beautiful one. I really like to layer it as well. When you sort of glaze the top layer on, it goes like a really deep color, and then you can also water it out to get a really beautiful soft pink. So this next one here is from Kremer Pigments, and this is their pink color. So it's very similar to Potter's Pink, I would say. Yeah, just a really nice one. This one here is the Wallace and Seymour Cinabrese. So this is their new formula. So it's more of like a powder pink than the original one was more like an apricot, which I really loved, and I do hope they bring it back. But these ones as well I get from Select Fine Arts, and the shipping has gone up to like $33 Canadian, so I'm not sure what is up with that. But yeah, so this one here is from Little Reverie Studio. This is her Begonia. So this is like if you have watched my videos on Azalea, which is the neon pink, this one is a little bit it's like a neon pink mixed with a white, so it's a little bit of a softer, sort of more like a really bubblegum pink. And then this one here is also from Little Reverie. This is her Peach Pop. So I know a lot of you also really love this one. Just a beautiful vibrant color. So these two aren't light fast, but I really just enjoy using them. So this one here is Apricot, and this one I will show you at the end was referred to me. I really like this one and the French Grey as well. So this is kind of like was I was trying to find sort of a replacement for the old Cinabrese, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that one. I will show you a different one I might be putting in there instead. So this one here is from Nibs Watercolors, and it is Moonbeam. Again, it's a neon one, so it is not light fast, but just a really vibrant colour to add. It's like absolute sunshine. So, and again, I just do not mind neon colours. I find it, you know, just enjoyable to work with them. I have no idea if my paintings will be around again in 200 years, but I do, they are here now, and you know, it's nice to enjoy them. So this next one is from Rivervale Watercolor, and this is her Phantom Fire. So it's like the Daniel Smith Interference Copper, but it's a little bit more pigmented. So this one here is the Schminker Silver. So again, this is similar to the Daniel Smith Pearlescent White. I think it's a little tiny bit warmer, but yeah, really nice. This one here is the Daniel Smith French Ochre, which I really love, and it's just a very sheer kind of light ochre. It's not heavy, and so it mixes well with a lot of things without making them muddy. And then this one here is the American Journey French Grey. So this one on the packet, on the tube, says it's raw umber and white, the pigments. So like a dark brown and with a lot of white. And this one here is a similar one. So this one here is the Greenleaf and Blueberry Seashell, and I'll show you at the end. This is very similar. There's like 3 that are very similar, and also all of these, like, so that's the Isaro Buff Titanium, and then that's the Barite from Greenleaf and Blueberry. But yeah, I'm thinking to put the Buff Titanium in there, so I'm not sure. I'm just trying the Seashell out for now. This one here is the Daniel Smith Roasted French Ochre. Again, this is one I've used for a long time. I really love this one. This is like a version of Burnt Sienna, and then the next one is kind of like so this is like the cooler version, and then this next one is Sedona. You can see they're both in the same half pan there, and this one's a little bit of a warmer version of Burnt Sienna. But I really like the way that both of these kind of the pigment lays on the paper, so it's not exactly smooth. It's got a little bit of texture there. This one here is from Rivervale Watercolor, and this is her pink pipestone. So Greenleaf and Blueberry also do one, and they seem to be always out of stock. But this one here is a really special one. It's got granules in it, so actual grain, and I really love it for that. I have a half pan that I got many years ago, and this is the reason that one of the reasons I wanted to put this palette together is because some of the half pans that I can't get anymore, I'm like saving, and I wanted to have a palette that I could kind of try and replace some of those and just have those things and use them, and kind of yeah. So this one here is the Schminker Sepia Reddish. So just a really nice dark deep brown. And I also have in the other palette the Daniel Smith Van Dyke Brown, which is similar, which is also a really nice one. This one is a sort of a different version of a hematite violet. This one is from Kremer, and it is the Iron Glimmer Violet. So again, just a beautiful violet earth. And this one here is from Greenleaf and Blueberry. This is one of my favorites of theirs. So I think on the thing it's called Swiss Violet Earth, I think. But I think my thing says French Violet Earth. So Yeah, but it's just a really gorgeous one. Again, it's got like those actual granules in it. So I really love painting like that. So this next one is a Daniel Smith one. I've tried quite a few blacks and I always just come back to this one. I really love it. It's the Daniel Smith Hematite. So very granulating colour, just a really beautiful soft colour, and I think that especially in my palette I gravitate towards softer colours, less saturated, not staining, and yeah, so this one here is the Wallace and Seymour Shimmer Iron Glimmer. Again, I've used this for a long time and really enjoy it. Also, if you guys have been interested and you've also seen the exorbitant shipping prices on select fine arts, maybe we can let them know so they know how many people are actually, you know, thinking of purchasing, but like the shipping, hopefully they can get it back to, I think it used to only be like around $6 US, so I'm not sure. Okay, so I just did Perylene Green, so I'm not sure which brand I got, but this one here, this one here is the Beam Paints Viridian. So there's a little problem there with like the paper, but yeah, this is such a gorgeous one. And in the last video you can see me kind of fiddling around with it and cutting a little bit of the paper off so that I could fit that in there. This one here is a Greenleaf and Blueberry one again. This is Malachite, so it's a natural green and just a really like a mineral color. Again, it's got a little bit of that grain and just a beautiful one. So this one here is from Stoneground Paints and it's the Pistachio. So I was looking for one that's similar to a color that I make. So also some of these are similar to colors that I make, but I wanted to get versions that you could readily access as well. So so this one here is the Winsor & Newton Davies Grey. I love this one. Very soft sheer colour. It's kind of like a very toned down terre verte, which is already a really soft colour. But I have used this, you can see it in action in like a grisaille video, and we paint like a Rembrandt, like a master copy of like Girl in Window. And yeah, I really love that underneath the painting. It adds, it's really nice. And you can see this is kind of like a warmer version of a similar thing. This one is the Greenleaf and Blueberry French Earth, but it's kind of like a glauconite colour. It's really lovely and again soft and with a little bit of grain. This one here is one that I pre-mixed into the half pan. So this is Daniel Smith Tiger's Eye with Winsor & Newton Cadmium Free Lemon Yellow. And it's just kind of a nice sap green. So this one is Schminker Ice Blue. This was a limited edition colour, and unfortunately it is sold out everywhere, but a little birdie told us, so thank you again for that, that if you mix their Paris blue with white, then you'll get a similar colour to this. So just a really lovely like powder blue. Yeah, this one here is the Daniel Smith Interference Blue, and a creamier version of this would be the Rivervale Phantom Moonlight. But yeah, just a beautiful like iridescent blue, and I really love mixing this with like the violet earths and browns, and you end up with a really kind of electric beautiful colour. So this one is similar again to one that I have made. This one is the Ocean Paper Silk Grey. So again, like mixing a kind of a violet earth with white, will produce something similar, really beautiful. And you can see again that it's very similar to those kind of buff titanium. Like you could add a little bit of like purple, like, or a violet to a buff titanium and get something similar to this. But yeah, I just really enjoy having those different ones to kind of choose from that are slightly toned in the palette. And then this is one I've been thinking about actually for quite a while. So this is Daniel Smith Lapis Lazuli. So it's a beautiful kind of soft version of, it's sort of in that mid tone blue, like an ultramarine or a cobalt blue, but it's a soft version and it granulates so beautifully. So I really love this one. So I put a little bit, I just squeezed a little bit onto the palette there. And this one is the only one that's not sort of commercially available somewhere. This is Kyanite. It's one that I made and I just can't get any more pigment at the minute. So if I can, I will release more because it's a really lovely one. I love to kind of put that on top of other colours and you get a really beautiful sparkle. This one is a Wallace and Seymour one. This is their Blue John. This is a beautiful warm grey. It's kind of like a taupe colour with a little bit of, I think they say that's kind of got a little bit of lilac in it. It's just a really beautiful one. Again, a little bit of grain. Yeah, so you can see that your palette will kind of reflect the way you want to paint, the things that you want to kind of achieve. And for me, I'm looking for not just the transparency of watercolor, but also this movement of pigment and kind of building up the surface in that way. So okay, so this one is one that I had in my other, like my small favorites palette, kind of my old version of that. And I have been really missing kind of having it readily available. So this one is the Daniel Smith Indigo. Just a really beautiful deep blue. Yeah. And you can see as well that because my paints are not as pigmented, like they don't have a very high saturation or a very high chroma, so I will often drop more pigment in. You can see like I will kind of water it out on the right and then I go back in and drop more pigment in on the left to strengthen that up and kind of just see how deep I can get the colour. And so the one we just did, so we're now swatching some of the little Greenleaf and Blueberry shells, which we'll actually talk a little bit more about at the end as well. But we just did the Vivianite, and then this one is Smalt. So this one is also a little bit similar to the Daniel Smith Lapis Lazuli, but just, yeah, they're gorgeous colours. So now you can see that I have two colours in that little half pan as well. So this one is the Daniel Smith Amethyst. So this is a really deep, kind of moody purple. It's got a little bit of shimmer in it. So yeah, it's just a really beautiful one. Again, you can see like I'm deepening up the colour there. And I think you'll also find that you swatch the way you kind of want to paint. So I'm not really interested in completely smooth or finished perfect edges, so that's kind of how I'm swatching. I'm kind of letting the water and the pigment do some of the work there and kind of see what they want to do. So I'm just showing you here, this is the Daniel Smith Sugalite, and I have that in the other palette mixed with Daniel Smith Pearlescent White. So I really love that, and I use that like that blend all the time, but I wanted just the full strength Sugalite in here. So this one is another one I've been thinking about, and I just added a little bit to the palette. This is the Daniel Smith Purpurite. So if you have a violet, you can add a little bit of pink or a little bit of red to get a similar colour to this. But I really like the way this, the pigment behaves. So again, like that is one of the things that always drawing me to the colours or the specific brands. This one here is a Wallace and Seymour one. This is their Horton Violet, and I think that once this is done, I'll be replacing this with the Greenleaf and Blueberry Ultramarine Violet. So this is kind of basically an ultramarine violet. This is a really beautiful version of that. So, but yeah. This one here is one from Nibs Watercolors, and this is not one that's available, I think, anymore. You can check with her, but this is her Copenhagen, which is a really beautiful one, and you can mix cobalt violet with like the interference blue to get something a little bit similar. Okay, so that is our entire palette swatched, and yeah, very excited to have it. It's actually been really nice. I have not even thought about like reaching for any of the other palettes at the minute. I've been really satisfied like having that there, and the studio palette, I have like quite a lot of colours there, you can see. But yeah, and also Greenleaf and Blueberry is one of my new favourite shops. So I saw her shop a few years ago and it was always sold out, and I could just never get, to the shop updates on time. And I saw it a few months ago and there have been like colours still available, so I've been so excited and have been collecting a few of those. And yeah, that's kind of what started this whole thing rolling, is that I just wanted to see if there were some replacements for like Porphyry Violet Ochre. So I got the Swiss Violet Ochre instead, and yeah, really lovely. So I'm just showing you there like how small the little shells are. So they're basically like a dot card but on a shell, which is so nice because I can just, and they've got the little magnets, so I've just put them on the top of the lid there. And then one of them I got in this little like an 1/8 pan, I think. So I just popped a little bit of paint there that I had that I wasn't using on the back, and then that is now stuck in place on the lid as well. So just quite a nice way to add a little bit to a palette. And then this one here, so I've put it actually in this spot. So it is the Kremer Incarnate I. So, and you can see I'm just taking out the ones that were in there and kind of showing you here. So this is the one that I'm kind of replacing the old version of Cinabrese with at the minute. I show you here, like that one was Mollusk from the Ocean Paper, which I got quite a while ago to kind of see if that would work instead. I've been trying a few different things for a while to try and find something. And yeah, this was the first time that I actually tried all these colours and swatched them. So yeah, it's really lovely actually just having that little bit of something on the palette, and it's a really nice way to try their colours. If you're not sure about a colour, you can try the little shells, and yeah. So This is the Kremer Incarnate I, and you can see again it's got that really beautiful colour, the kind of sheer, like very transparent nature of, and the sort of pinky apricot undertones that I really loved in the Cinabrese, where this one on the right is the mollusk and it's got more of a yellow undertone. So still a beautiful colour, but you know, I was really looking for something, so I think that is going to be my the one that I'm sort of putting there instead of the Cinabrese for now. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. So this one here is the Greenleaf Blueberry little shell, and it was the it was the Cassell Earth, and then this one is the Chromite, something Chromite. Yeah, so again, these are both really beautiful versions of a dark brown, very similar to the sepia reddish or the Van Dyke brown as well. And I'll show you in a minute that I'm going to do a whole, like, I'm in the middle of kind of swatching them all out. I'd hoped to have it done for this video today, but unfortunately not. But I will have that pretty soon, so you can kind of see them all side by side and compare them. And then that one was again the Vivianite, which we've already swatched out, but and this one I think we've already swatched out. This is the Smalt. But you can see how like swatching things in different colour formations, like different little palettes and colour families, and it's a very, very helpful way to kind of, if you're thinking about painting something, paint some little different palette swatches and kind of move your paints around and have a look at like different ways that you think things might, you know, go together. So yeah, and then this one here is the Barite. So this is it's a really nice kind of cool grey, yeah, and I'll show you in a minute. So I really love this whole palette together. It's really beautiful. But what was I saying? Yeah, there's three very kind of pale white whites from Greenleaf Blueberry. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is a little package that I got a fair few months ago, and I finally opened it a couple of months ago and found, and I wanted to show you because this is like a little artwork in and of itself, but I saw the apricot on here and the French grey, and that is where I kind of got the thing to try those. So I will link her information below. She sells artworks on Instagram, and you know, really lovely, so thank you for that. And so this is a little watercolor book that I'm kind of putting together just with some cotton paper, and we're going to do some comparisons in here. So once I've got this all finished and filmed, I will kind of flip through and show you, so you can kind of have a look at the different comparisons. The funny thing about the front cover is I was just on the phone and that was like I was kind of doodling with the watercolor. So yeah, really happy with how that came out. But so yeah, you can kind of see here like the Opera Rose, and then we've got the Azalea and then the Begonia. And so I'm kind of going to go through and show like the Peach Pop and the Shell Pink. You can see the differences in how the colour is laying down, and you know, just what the colours actually are. So this one here is where I was saying like the barite, the seashell and the eggshell, they don't necessarily make a whole lot of difference on their own. They're really beautiful to look at though in the half pans, and I think I'll have to try like mixing them with some things. I think that's where you'll kind of start to see those differences come out. So yeah, this is just the first page, and then I will kind of add it to this, and then I'll put like a whole little video together of so you can kind of see the differences there. I think that would be really helpful, because I know like a lot of times I'm trying to get, you know, one or I'm like talking about one paint or a different one or something. So yeah, this is something a little bit special. So I have been working on this little collection. So this collection is, it's inspired by a quote that I heard a few years ago. So the quote was, "You are constantly precious," and I was thinking about that and kind of how to show that and how to create that. And I was thinking then about pearls and how, you know, precious they are. So I called this collection the Constant Pearl. And yeah, there are some minis. You can see like some minis in the work. There are a couple of like 11 by 15 ones, and then there's a large one that's on like a large 22 by 30-ish piece of paper. So all of these ones are on Saunders Waterfed, and then the largest one is on a really nice piece of like, I think it's Arches, like a 640. These are all what's the regular, like 300 GSM. So yeah, you can see them kind of coming to life there, and the little pearls have not been done yet. But yeah, I thought it would just be a really nice way to sort of send a little bit of that thought out, that you are precious and constantly precious. So yeah, so I'll do a shop update with these on Monday. So we'll go for 6:30 p.m. Monday night, Eastern Standard Time, and yeah, there'll be like some little minis available. So some of them are even like quite small. They're like 1.5 by 2.5, something like that, or 2 by 3, and yeah, some are like 3.5 by 5. So yeah, just a whole variety there. But I thought it would be just a really nice way to have a little bit of something special. And as well, like you can see that the paintings, like when I show them on here, they're underneath a daylight lamp, so you get that, a lot of that shine and the sparkle, which is the best way to kind of view them. And then you'll see in a minute, like I kind of take them around the house to try and find different lighting and different ways to show you. So yeah, but anyway, so that is, I think that's everything for today, guys. Yeah, you can see like that's actually the largest painting that I have ever done. So, but what I wanted to do was kind of these soft layers of the pearl kind of growing, and how you know, how long it takes to kind of get that shine and get that and grow that, you know, the special kind of nature of the pearl. So yeah, they're kind of all like different colors, and yeah, it's almost like each one has like a different little feeling or like personality. So and then the other thing that I was getting questions about is the landscape class. So I have come up with what I think is how I'm going to, like, the platform and everything. So hopefully not next video, which is in 2 weeks, but hopefully the one after that, I'll have that all sorted out. So yeah, it's coming along, and I hope you guys have a really lovely weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.